Hello. Welcome to my little channel here on the interwebs. So, Joe Biden's blunder is worse than we initially thought. It wasn't that he just botched the exit of Afghanistan. It's actually a lot worse than that, to be honest. It's not that he just botched it, he didn't have a plan. I could tell there was no plan. He just pulled the plug, he flipped the switch, and we're leaving. However, through the chaos, there's some things that have happened. But on the good news, the Taliban pledge safe passage of the civilians to Kabul airport, the White House says. That's right, we're going to trust terrorists. Newly empowered Taliban militants have informed the U.S. that they are prepared to provide safe passage for civilians attempting to flee Afghanistan through Kabul International Airport, while the White House said Tuesday, "We intend to hold them to that commitment." National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told reporters amid a barrage of questions about Biden's administration handling of the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, which was plunged into chaos of the Islamic insurgents, quickly ousted the Western-backed government. Sullivan said that the chaotic situation in the Afghan capital makes a premature speculation on whether the Taliban could form a government the U.S. would recognize. But it gets even worse than that. Americans, foreign allies trapped in Afghanistan's frantic for evacuation information. Now, this was yesterday. So it gets even worse. We left people behind. We left soldiers behind. We left U.S. contractors behind. We left U.S. allies, Germany, France, Britain, behind because of Joe Biden's mishandling of the evacuation. For those are defending that we left Afghanistan, sure, I am glad that we left Afghanistan. That is not a question that should be asked. It is how we left. Joe Biden is a disgrace. This is worse than Vietnam. At least with Vietnam, the North Vietnamese were fighting us tooth and nail to the very last city. We were not under attack. We had superior firepower, but Joe Biden chose not to use it and chose to stop operations before we even were ready to depart. That's right. Congressional opposites and outside advocate groups are building a flood of frantic calls from American citizens and foreign allies despite the escape from Afghanistan amid unfolding chaos there. On Sunday, staffers from Senator Tom Cotton's office set up a hotline for Americans stranded in Afghanistan who have not yet been able to receive any clear communications from the State Department officials or their government resources. In less than 24 hours, several hundred individuals have contacted the line, including a number of Americans trapped behind Taliban lines. The situation is dire, but we'll do everything in our power to keep you informed to help you get out. Cotton, Republican Arkansas, and an Army veteran who served in Afghanistan said in a statement. That's right, this was such a clusterfuck. I normally don't speak, so I swear, but this is such a clusterfuck. Joe Biden screwed Americans, screwed the Germans, screwed Britain, I think also France, and a few other European allies, because he decided we were going to be done with Afghanistan, and he just picked a date, pulled the plug, and hoped for the best. That's right, That's right. And of course, you got Miss Circle Back, whatever her name is. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said on Tuesday that a fair amount of U.S. weaponry has fallen into the hands of the Taliban since the hardline Islamic militant group rapidly took over Afghanistan in recent days. During the White House press briefing, Sullivan was asked what will happen to the billions of dollars in equipment, including guns, ammunition, helicopters, and more given the Afghanistan government in 2 decades before the collapse. We don't have a complete picture, obviously, of where every article of defense materials have gone, Biden advisor answered briefly, but certainly a fair amount of it has fallen into the hands of the Taliban. And obviously, we don't have a sense of that they are going to readily hand it over to us at the airport. You know, snide remarks like that, it has no place in our politics, especially with something like this. This was botched. That's right, it was botched. This is worse than we could ever have thought. And anybody that says they can defend Joe Biden, shame on you. That's right, I said it. Shame on the people that are defending Joe Biden. Yes, I'm glad that we're gone. I'm glad that the 20-year conflict with Afghanistan is over, but this is not how we end it. I'm sorry. The president did not think it was inevitable that the Taliban were going to take control of Afghanistan, Sullivan said. He thought the Afghan National Security Forces could step up to the fight because we spent 20 years, tens of billions of dollars training them, giving them the best equipment to give them the support of the U.S. forces for 20 years. When push came to shove, they decided not to step up in the fight for their country, Sullivan said, adding that the president was faced with the question of whether U.S. men and women should be put in the middle of another country's civil war when their own army won't fight to defend them. This is actually a statement I do agree with, so I don't really care that the Taliban took over Afghanistan. I mean, I kind of care, but I kind of don't care, if that makes sense. My issue is how we left the country. We left people stranded. We left our allies stranded. Not necessarily the Afghan people, but like the Germany had the second largest force in Afghanistan, and we pretty much left them out to dry. But of course, Rick Scott went out there on Joe Biden, just went there on Joe Biden and the 25th Amendment, according to CNN Politics. Perhaps unhappy with the soaring profile of fellow Floridian Ron DeSantis among Trump base, the Republican Party, Senator Rick Scott decided to do something about it on Monday. After the disastrous events on Afghanistan, we must confront a serious question. Is Joe Biden capable of discharging the duties of his office, or has time come to exercise provisions of the 25th Amendment, he tweeted. Which what? I don't really understand that. Not like I'm going to trust CNN and most of it. Look, there's no question that the images coming out of Afghanistan over the past days have been horrifying, and that Biden and his top allies were caught by surprise by the rapid capitulation of the Afghan forces and to the Taliban. And even Biden's blame game speech on Monday afternoon likely worsened the political position rather than straighten it. All those things are true. Absolutely none of them suggest the 25th. Actually, the 25th should be invoked. We should know that if he's competent or not. I don't know if he's competent or not, but at least we should get to the bottom of it. That's right. Of course, CNN's going to be first to throw this in there. Throw blame anybody except for their golden boy, their golden child. Well, let's remember what we're talking about here. While most of the amendment was dedicated to the formalizing the presidential succession, it was passed in the wake of the assassination of John F. Kennedy with the ascension of Vice President Lyndon. Oh, okay. Actually, I was kind of starting to read this and thought it was something else. But yes, the 25th Amendment should not be taken lightly. But however, I think Joe Biden is not capable to lead our country, and we definitely need to make sure that something's taken care of. Either it's going to be censored to let Joe Biden know that this is not acceptable. What he did and how he commanded the armed forces. Yes, the armed forces should have known better, but when the president says something, you got to do what the president says. And this is far worse. What Joe Biden has done has made us look weak. Not only has we looked weak, we betrayed some of our closest allies and left them stranded. We left American soldiers and American contractors stranded with no thought of that. Joe Biden says that this is the day that we're going to end our operations, and by golly, we're going to end it that day. Screw everybody else. This is going to be what I'm going to do. And it took him a week or a couple weeks to get out of hiding. Both him and Jin Saki went on vacation. Harris hasn't even been seen in who knows how long. Failures of the highest magnitude on our presidential cabinet. President and his cabinet were hiding, and now Joe Biden is back at Camp Davis, not taking a single question. I mean, for sure he's working, but according to the public, he's MIA, not really addressing the nation anymore. He just did 18 minutes or 17 minutes speech and called it a day. I should probably call it a week. But anyways, like I said, this situation of Afghanistan is a lot worse than I initially thought yesterday when I made that video. Hopefully this is the last video I'm going to do on the colossal failure of Afghanistan and the departure of Afghanistan. Like I said, I'm glad that that chapter is done. I'm glad it's over. But how it was executed is what I have an issue with. And anybody that's defending how we departed or how we withdraw from Afghanistan should really look into the issue, look into the people that we abandoned, not just the Afghan people, but the Germany, Great Britain. Yeah, I know they're miniature superpowers of their own might, and they should be able to have their own plan, their own way out. But they were so reliant on us, and maybe that's an issue. Maybe these countries shouldn't have been relying on us. But anyways, Joe Biden screwed this up so bad. Really look weak amongst our probably our enemies. China's making headways. Iran is making headways. I saw a tweet, so I don't know if it's true or not, that Iranian is restarting their nuclear program, trying to get nuclear or weapon grade nuclear material. So we'll see. Anyways, leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are. Whether or not you agree with me that Joe Biden needs to be removed, or at least something needs to be happened. A slap on the wrist, it doesn't matter, to show, to let the American people know that he cannot be doing this. Anyways, leave a comment down below if you agree with me. Let me know why. If you disagree with me, you can hit that little thumbs down. But leave a comment down below what I'm getting wrong, what I'm not seeing. Why was this a good thing, other than the fact that we're leaving Afghanistan? And also smash the like and subscribe button. With that being said, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.